Hello everyone, I want to summarise a paper that got published all the way back in 2006 that shared 4 case studies. Now these 4 individuals all struggled with depression and they all had rapid improvement in their mental health with the supplementation of magnesium. Now, the first person was a 59-year-old male. He had a long history of depression. He had tried several forms of antidepressants. He had tried lithium. None of those seemed to have worked. And after a year of acute stress, both professionally and personally, he became hypomanic depressive and also suicidal. Now, he was recommended 300 milligrams of magnesium 4 times a day. 1 capsule with each meal and then 1 before bed. The type of magnesium he was recommended was initially glycinate and then later on it was taurinate. The second person is a 23-year-old female who 5 years previously had a traumatic brain injury and lost a lot of her short-term memory and also some of her IQ. Now, after a period of acute stress, she became severely depressed. And she did find that antidepressants were helpful, but she was concerned about the side effects. She was recommended 200 milligrams of magnesium glycinate 4 times a day.